Alright, everybody, this is gonna be my second take of this. I just filmed this whole thing and had to redo it again because my audio was off. Some things you missed out on. I'm sipping on Crush. I think I'm about to be done with it because it's a tiny can that makes my hand look big. So it's about to be done. So hopefully, maybe you'll get some good sips in that. But other than that, you're gonna miss my excitement when I get questions correct because I went Clay Thompson 4 years ago, levels of bangers from 3 on this, getting them all right, and you're gonna be like, Mr. Gardner, you're the teacher, you shit. But like, I still take pride in it, as should you. So let's get doing this because we only have 30 minutes because I'm not paying for the premium on this. I'd probably not paying for the premium after I just botched my whole video. So if I seem to know the answers, it's because I already did this just now. So when we start looking at this question, the first thing you want to do is look at the source, which is going to be Simone Bolivar. And when I talk about Simone Bolivar, it's like instantly revolutions, French Revolution, American Revolution. That's a little burp from the Crush, I'm sorry. But so let's go look at these questions. What's historical document is most influenced by the government of Venezuela described in this passage? So in this passage, it's talking about America becoming separated from the Spanish monarchy. So separation. Found itself, oh, come on. Give me that text highlighter. Yeah. And then it formed an independent nation. In accordance with its situation, members could establish, we do not preserve the vestiges of what we once were, but an intermediate species. Spaniards by birth, Americans by birth, Spaniards, Europeans in right. Dilemma of disputing with natives, interesting. Has been a purely passive one. Null. We find ourselves in greater difficulties attaining our liberty, being robbed. Reichs, Rutro, Reggie. All right, here we go. So when we look at these answers here, I don't think it's going to be the Napoleonic Code because there's nothing about laws in there. Oh, I gotta do that red highlighter. Give me that red highlighter. Oh, not all of that. Oh, no. All right. There's nothing about women's rights in this. Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations. There's nothing about economics in this either, so we can cross that one off. This could be John Locke's Treaty of Government. And then this is when I would look over to see if I got it right. And I'd be like, yeah, I got it right. And I already know the answers on these, so I'm kind of disappointed. But what was the main purpose of this passage? To reestablish political connections to the mother country. Negative. I don't think they like the Spanish. It's also freaking ridiculously hot in my room because I had the AC off for the last hour and I'm sweating. I'm going to look gross. I don't want to do this, but we're going to do it. To promote economic diversity in South America. There's nothing about economics in this if you read it. To uncover disloyal elements in the Latin American society. That sounds pretty cool and spy-like, but there's nothing like that. So I'm going to see if it's the last one here. To identify obstacles to national unity. Ya betcha. Right? We're talking about difficulties in attaining our liberty right there. Boom. I'm going to hit the hide button. For this reason, we make the proclamation to... Oh, wait, sorry. So this is going to be from the Chinese repository in the 1800s, which we talked about China at that time simply for one reason. It's the Opium Wars. I'm sorry. I'm so thirsty. It's so freaking hot in here. I've literally done this all day. I'm going to lose my mind on this last one. I'm having a great time. Which the best describes the author's purpose in issuing this proclamation? So we have the Chinese repository, and let's read this. For this reason, we make the proclamation to all gentry and elders, shopkeepers and inhabitants along our coast. Pay you immediate obedience hereto for whatever, okay? Purchase weapons, join together with your villagers and defend yourselves. If any foreigners are going to shore to cause trouble, kill them. Not going to be liked by those foreigners. They will never oppose us whenever they take land, water, their progress. Let them not have power to their drink. As long as foreigners do not go on shore, you must not presume to go in boats near their vessels. Why would they go in boats near their vessels, Mr. Gardner? Maybe to get drugs, like opium. So to gain support for freshwater projects, Begin modernization efforts. It is not very modern to shoot people for visiting your town. To encourage anti-Western resistance. Heck yeah. To promote trade with foreigners. It's going to be hard to trade with dead people. So that's going to be number 2 there. All because I probably could answer that question just from knowing it's China in the 1800s. The actions described in this passage are most directly related to, and I just told you it's going to be the Opium War, but like, let's talk about these other answers here. The retreat of nationalists to Taiwan. Nope, nothing about Taiwan. Invasion of Manchuria. That's Japan. Not happening. The start of the Sino-Japanese War. It could be if you didn't know the difference between Chinese and Japanese, which makes you racist. I'm just kidding. You're not a racist. I had a better joke in my old video. I wish I do. I do all these things like off the cuff, kind of live. Like I do read them and like kind of think of what I want to say. But then when I'm like doing the same response twice, I'm definitely like, my jokes are not going to be as good. But it is what it is. Based on this map, what was a significant challenge faced by the Ottoman Empire between 1800 and 1913? So you see territory lost, and it says years mapped indicated of territories lost here. So we're talking about losing territory by the... Whoa, I just highlighted a bunch of stuff. Based on this map, why did they lose territory? Rapid expansion led to high levels of inflation. Can't tell where there's inflation on this map, so that's going to be a negative. Negative. If that sounded awful, I apologize. Nationalistic movements led to territorial losses. That's a possibility. This test is going to be heavy on nationalism, just like we talked about throughout the year, so I can leave that one. Addition of territories in Africa required a larger military presence. Didn't talk about that at all. Acquiring lands in Eastern Europe led to religious uprisings. That didn't happen at all. So it's going to be nationalism. I'm going to underline it with a red one because I'm just losing my mind here. It's going to be nationalism. It's not a red. It's yellow. Oh yeah, let's highlight all that. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up. Is it gonna highlight all that now that I let go of it? Please don't. Oh, thank God. Why are we doing this? I can't highlight something that's been underlined? Okay. That makes sense. Which claim about the Ottoman Empire is best supported by this map? It had access to important waterways and large waters of body. It really did. If you look at the Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea, the Suez Canal, and the Persian Gulf are right there as well. We can leave that. It was carved from the Russian Federation. The Russians are really right there, so it can't be that one. I'm dying of heat in here. I know this is going to be so distracting. God, I wish I did this video the first time. It lacked natural resources and warm water ports. The Mediterranean Sea is hot. I don't know if you've ever... I've been to Italy, and I threw up on a train. It was so hot. I literally got off the train, took 2 steps, and just threw up everywhere because it was so hot. It's like 109, and you like see how pale I am. That's a warm water port, okay? I'll leave it at that. It controlled the entire coast of the Mediterranean Sea. You can obviously tell that it's not controlling the entire coast because there's gray spots here. So that one's going to be... It had access to important waterways and bodies of water. Did I highlight in the red? It's number 1. Why is that highlighted now? I'm just... All right, so Siegfried Sassoon, if you know who he is, congratulations. You're a nerd and pretty dope. If you don't, it's pretty normal. Just because I know him, it's a World War I soldier, but also we have 1917 here. So that's also going to be the time of World War I. What's the statement that best describes the author's point of view? So he's saying here, and he's going to directly say, I am making this statement as a willful defiance of military authority because I believe the war is deliberately being prolonged by those who have the power to end it. Well, he's very clear on why he's making a statement. He's convinced that the war which he entered upon in the War of Defense and Liberation has now become a war of aggression and conquest. Okay. The objects would have been... So I've seen the enduring sufferings of troops, and I can no longer be a part of these sufferings. Yeah, this guy saw some shit for like 3 years straight. I'm not going to be protesting against the conduct of the war, but against the political errors. Political errors. He's not against war, he's against politicians. Oh, did I just highlight all that? Please don't. Thank you. On behalf of those who are suffering, make this protest. I believe it's my help to destroy the callous competence by those. Also, like, I saw this part here was like, my shoulders and I should have clearly been stated why we're going to war. It's like, you're never gonna know why you're going to war, brother. You just get sent over there. So what's his best? What statement best describes his point of view? War leaders continued the war to promote their interests. Probably it. Soldiers never promoted the war. He did say he kind of is okay with war as long as it's not, it's for defense. Soldiers did not support efforts to negotiate the end of the war. He's literally trying to get them to end the war, so it's not that one. Let's go ahead and highlight these off. Nationalism and patriotism increased as the war continued. He's talking about like some trash on his government, so that's not true. It's gonna be number one. What was the Why is it red? Oh, can I make it yellow? Is it gonna make a weird color? Can I make it yellow? Oh, is it gonna make it all yellow? I'm gonna throw up. Come on. Just make it yellow. That was pretty easy, actually. I'm making a big deal out of nothing. I'm being dramatic. What was the purpose of this author's letter? To promote the goals of the British government? That's a negative, Ghost Rider. No way. To improve his status as a British soldier? Great way to not improve your status as a soldier. Suggest the ways to recruit soldiers. No one's going to like to join after hearing all that garbage. Well, it's not garbage. He's pretty true. But to explain his act of civil disobedience to the war. All you had to do was read it. All you had to do was read the first sentence. I am writing you because I think the government is prolonging the war when they should end it. If you can't read the first sentence, you're not trying hard enough. Okay, we have colonialism in Africa. The first things that come to my mind should be the Berlin Conference. I've hammered that into your brains. You should know colonialism in Africa was started off with the Berlin Conference, where they divided the whole country up. Which historical event was a significant factor in bringing about the conditions shown on map A? The Great Leap Forward? That's when they were like killing teachers in China. So that's going to be a no. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Don't do it to me. Stop. Okay. The Berlin Conference. Heard that somewhere. Why is it red? I'm just really good. I'm like so sick. I'm like super sick and dope. The establishment of the League of Nations, that was a terrible organization created after World War II that was trying to do good, but it did not do good. And the formation of the World Trade Organization, nothing about trade in that. What explains the differences in the national boundaries shown in the two maps? We have new patterns in urbanization, new cities. Nope. Opposition to modernization could be the spread of nationalistic movements. Nationalism, again, probably the answer. The end of the Cold War. Did not end in 1975. So, off my gut, I'm going to go with nationalism. That's the correct answer because this is a nationalism. You see nationalism on the test, it's most likely the answer. And I'm just going to keep highlighting things in red because I'm just like super sick and awesome. Opposition to modernization, not necessarily going to be why they form their own countries. We saw, and like nationalism is like such a tricky kind of thing to explain because you see how it can be a unifying factor with like Germany and the peoples in Africa, and it can also be an explosion separation factor like we see in the Balkans and we see in Rwanda. Yeah. Kwame Beverino. For a little can, I'm kind of getting a lot of juice out of this. Which statement is best supported by the evidence, including these documents? I'm going to double check that this is still recording. Yep, we're good. 16 minutes. Okay, we're chilling. So here we have a couple stamps, and he says, my cabinet has decided with my agreement to put my head on the coinage because many of my people cannot read or write. They've got to be shown that they are really independent and that only they can be shown by signs. When they buy stamps, they will see my picture, an African like themselves, and they will say, look, here is our leader on stamps. We are truly a free people. Which statement can be supported by these documents? Media and propaganda can be used to promote national goals. True. Dictatorships and rebellions can lead to nationalistic movements. Oh, we see nationalism, so I'm going to leave it, but we'll come back to it. Government-supported agricultural programs. Citizens should have the freedom to travel. Nothing about that, any of that. So it comes down to dictatorships leading rebellions or media and propaganda being used to promote national goals. I think that the top one's going to be the better one out of those two, and that's the correct answer. Not gonna say it. I almost said it. I'm not gonna say it. These stamps were used by the government of Ghana as a way to promote British imperialism. No way, Jose. Environmental issues in Ghana. Involvement in the international groups. National pride in a largely illiterate population. You betcha. You betcha. We do it in the same way with like road signs and stuff too, to try to help people who might not be able to read or understand certain things with just simple graphics. And then hopefully your goal is later on to help them read. Which claim is best supported by evidence depicted in this cartoon? We got Ho Chi Minh spreading his tentacles all over South Vietnam, with the United States using scissors and airstrikes as scissors to cut those tentacles off. So Ho Chi Minh wanted to keep North Vietnam separated from South Vietnam. Not true. He's got his tentacles like going down and grabbing it like a little weird octopus. The United States used airstrikes to stop the spread of communism to Vietnam. Sure. Using airstrikes to stop Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh invited the United States to use airstrikes to end French colonization of Vietnam. Nothing about the French in this. However, he did do that actually. Like he did. Ho Chi Minh was kind of a buddy with American leaders until we went to war with him when he became a communist in a way. Efforts by the United States were to free the South Vietnam were successful from China. This guy is what this question is, do you know who Ho Chi Minh is? Because if you know Ho Chi Minh was a communist, the answer is number 2 every day. If you don't think Ho Chi Minh's a communist, you think he might be Chinese, you might say it's going to be 4. So this is just simply a question of Ho Chi Minh, who he is. And he was the leader of North Vietnam for quite some time. Until I think it was Le Duan. No, the Le Duan was South Vietnam. Who was the other leader in North Vietnam? Anyways, the reach of Ho Chi Minh's tentacles in the cartoon suggests that he was interested in developing a strong naval presence. Nothing about the Navy. His goal was to unify Vietnam. Probably. He sought to cooperate with the United States to gain Chinese support. The United States is just chopping them up. The political ambitions included in conquering South Vietnam's neighbors. Nothing about his neighbors, but that was true. So it's like a confusing one. So it's going to be, his goal was to unify South Vietnam with North Vietnam. Berlin Wall. Right away, your brain should be like, Berlin Wall, Berlin Wall, Berlin Wall. The day the wall came down, Berlin. They literally have the Berlin Wall underneath the title, which these photographs be described studying a which conflict? Cold War. If you don't know that one, you weren't paying attention. No way. I even showed you a David Hasselhoff video at the Berlin Wall. What was the immediate results of the action shown in these photographs? It's going to be the easing of tension between Eastern and Western Europe, because the rest of these answers don't make any sense. NATO was formed a long time before this. Rise of fascist dictators is pre-World War II. The creation of one-party system is a dictator. Dictators don't take over. So here we have a political cartoon about China. We have China as a wall. We don't do imports. Democracy, you're trying to be like the Mongolians and go over the wall. But they don't do imports, so democracy can't get in. So what's the point of view depicted in the cartoon? China is not permitting in the global market at the time. Is not participating. Now, that could be it. But they do exports. So, China has attempted to prevent democratic ideals from entering the country. You betcha. That's the one. I'm so tired. I'm rushing through this. If you're watching this still, let me just front with you. It's been such a day. I did drive to, I went up north to Texas to get some chicken, though, and that was a pretty sick part of my day. Got some good chicken. Those are really nice, actually. It's been a long day doing these videos. I don't know how long it takes. It takes some time. All right. So, China viewed democracy as an attractive import. No way. They're saying, no way, we don't want that. We don't do imports. Losers. And China was looking to strengthen its wall. No. It's going to be 2. Question 23. 5 more. Oh my God. Okay, an economist would find this passage most useful for. So we're looking for reasons why an economist would like this. The problem with making the case for open borders is that few winners that recognize the extent of gains result as enjoy. Oh my God, I can't read. Recognize that the extent of the gains they enjoy come as a result of free trade. So free trade right away. That's a big one. Don't highlight all that, please. Free trade. Just highlight that. No, stop it. The losses suffered displaced by the workers they're real, but few Americans realize that cars and stuff are all cheaper, and workers who make the products sold outside the United States fail to recognize how much their jobs and wages depend on America's willingness to import, as well as the capacity to export. That returns are boosted over. So we're talking about why America should spend money in America, and why Americans should have no taxes. No. It should have free trade. Free trade, hands off, laissez-faire. You got to know that. If you don't know that, the rest of it's going to be like protective tariffs. There's nothing about protective tariffs in here. Okay. Organizing protests against labor abuses, not in there. And environmental restrictions is also not in there. So if you don't know what free trade is, you at least know what those ones aren't, and then that would leave you with that answer. That you know what those ones are not in there. I'm sorry if you hear me gulp, but I really don't care at this point. Which claim is best supported by these 21st century headlines? HIV and AIDS are still a global concern. West Nile, Ebola spreading in Africa. The Zika virus in 50 countries. Global interactions help spread the cause of epidemic diseases, which is kind of messed up because they made this year. So you kids who went through COVID are like, I know what global interactions do. So this is COVID, right? Think of it like that. High-income countries don't have to worry about contagious diseases. America got wrecked by it. Pollution is the cause of most contagious diseases, even though China's got terrible pollution. It's not what caused it. Epidemic diseases are primary cause of economic inequality. Also not true. Which international response results from the 21st century? NATO was to stop the communists. NGOs were non-government organizations for financial disease contained. Guys, it's going to be the World Health Organization. You should just know that from COVID, that the World Health Organization really stepped up and did a lot for us at the time. Think of Dr. Fauci doing his thing. Fauciing it up. Getting the Fauci ouchie with the virus. I'm sweating in here. My foot hurts now, too. 26. Two more after this. What provision in the United States human rights were violated by this? So we see... Head back over time, the entire villages and 90% of Zafra were destroyed by fire. So we're talking about looting. Everything was destroyed. Okay, so their houses were destroyed. Slavery, nothing about slavery. Arrests, nothing about arrests. No one should be forced to go to a gang, nothing about joining gangs. We do have people having their houses burnt down. Bingo. That easy. Just got to read one paragraph. The behavior in this political cartoon is most similar to which concept? We have a tank just steamrolling through final notice, absolutely final notice, very last notice, like, please don't do this. It's the same thing as Hitler being like, I want Czechoslovakia, and like, you can take it, but that's literally it, you know? Or like when he goes through Austria, and you're like, you shouldn't do that. And then, you know, it goes Sudetenland, or like, you really should stop. And then Czechoslovakia's like, that's it. Right, so that's appeasement. Nothing about alliances. That's Milosevic on here. We didn't talk too much about Milosevic, actually, really at all. Actually, we did, but I don't know if you'll remember it. If you do, pat yourself on the back. Which organization directly helped end the human rights violations shown on this? This was the question on here that made it so that if you didn't get this right, you didn't get the 100. It's going to be NATO. It's a tough one. There's no hints on here about it. Simply, you just have to know that NATO stopped Milosevic. And the human rights violations that were associated with him. You can know it's not going to be oil companies, African Unity, because Milosevic is not an African Unity guy. And the World Trade Organization trade doesn't really stop. So NATO is the only one with like actual teeth to stop this. So that's the reason why you know it. All right. We got 4 minutes. But I need this. And if I get this wrong, I'm going to go to bed feeling like a real big dumb dummy. Okay, here we go. First word, going to just throw this one out there in the dark. tater. I know there's repeats of words in there, but I feel like a potato right now. It's not tater. That's a really tough start. I have 4 minutes to get this. Raw. Let's put R at the start here. No, I use about. Oh God. About Prost. Cheers in German. Not gonna be here. Round. It's a little bit better. A little bit better. Where's the R go? O-U-R. Orud. What am I typing? I have 3 minutes left. This is. Some of you guys are like, Mr. Gardner, you're smart. I'm not. I'm just like super, super stupidly into history. RD. Could it be like? Is that even a word? It is. I put the O and the U in the same spot, so that was smart. Oh my God, gourd. I can't do the O and U in the same spot again though. O U R. Oh, I'm not gonna get this. 2.5 minutes. I'm so dumb. Occurred? Nope. Ordered. Ordered. You know what? I'm doing it. I'm gonna see if the O's there, and it's not. The R is there, so it's gonna be X R O U D. Is it proud? Happy Pride Month. We're all proud. We're all proud. Those are some disappointing stats. Don't look at those. Alright, I'm ending this video here. I'm going to bed. Peace and love. If you're watching this, I appreciate you guys trying to do well on this test. Make me proud every day if you're doing that. That's really cool. You're really setting yourselves up. I'll talk to you later. Stay safe. Peace and love.